This is Visual 1, and we're covering the foundations of visualization. You can think of it like learning an alphabet. If you've been using visual thinking in your work for a while, this may seem basic, so I challenge you to find new information or new ideas in this. If this is your first time learning visual skills, then think of each of these as a different tool in your toolbox on your journey of visual thinking. Let's start with the most common visual element, the written word and letters. You may be asking, Eric, why are we focusing on words? I thought we were supposed to be getting more visual. And you're absolutely right. But we're not doing away with words altogether. Even the most talented visual thinkers use words as labels for ideas and to capture quotes. It's the pairing of visuals with our words that is going to make our work stronger. As a child, you had a natural ability for drawing, and in our school systems, that has been channeled into writing letters and words. So every time you sign your name or write a note, you're actually drawing. I want you to understand how innate and familiar drawing is to people, to you. And I want you to have the confidence to refine this drawing further through this course. At the beginning, we use words as labels. A label is a single word or a short phrase that you might use to name a folder on your computer or write on the side of a box that you put in storage. In visual thinking, we use a label to focus our attention on a single idea or topic. You can also use individual characters in your visual work. A question mark denotes an unknown. An exclamation point in a triangle is danger or risk. The @ sign can refer to communication, the plus sign to an increase or an improvement. There are built-in icons in our written language. We've talked about labels. Now let's talk about containers. This is where I'll be introducing shapes. Squares, circles, triangles, amorphous blobs. It's all fair game. In visual thinking, we draw a shape and we label it to claim a space on the page for an idea. I want to reiterate that writing letters and words is drawing. If you can write an O, you can draw a circle. If you can write an A or V, that's a triangle. You can start drawing a box by writing an H and moving where the crossbars are to the top and the bottom. You can draw it taller or wider to make it a rectangle. A spark shape is a lot of V's or U's, and a cloud is a bunch of soft M's. It's unlikely that your shapes will start out looking great. If they're oblong or wiggly or jagged, that's just fine. Repetition will carve grooves in your mind. With every stroke and hand movement, your brain is recording what you're doing, and it will get better and easier every time. The third element in Visual 1 are lines. If you put a V at one end, you have an arrow. When drawing a line, you're accomplishing one of two things. You're either dividing up a space, or you're creating a connection between two things across a space. While a container can divide what is inside from what is outside, a line can create a division in an even larger space. A line drawn from one container to another shows connection, but it can also show relationship. If the line is an arrow pointing from one container to another, it is showing a flow of some sort. If the arrow is going both ways, it represents an exchange happening. If it's an important flow or exchange, feel free to label that with a word. The fourth element in Visual 1 is space, or the spaces on your page or board. We often associate spaces with different things. For instance, up is good and down is bad, or high and low. To the right may be the future and the left the past. The space between containers is also important, because if two or more containers are grouped together, they are assumed to be more related than containers that are further away. Sharing a container shape or color can also indicate that they're related or together. Lastly, if something takes up more space, it often conveys a sense of importance over something that takes up less space. I hope you see that with just these four elements, we can create a plethora of unique and impactful visuals that help us process our ideas and communicate them with the world. Now go work on the Visual 1 exercises, which will help you not only use these shapes more so that they become ingrained in your mind, but will also show you how to use tools like mind maps and timelines in your real work. Visual 2 is about system mapping, using visualization to make better sense of the systems that you're in and how you can affect and change the inputs, outputs, and processes.